Hello everyone, welcome to Unrock Builds Things. Today I'm going to try out Claude Code Agent Teams with one of the use cases I have in my day job. So it's not a toy use case or demo app, but an actual production app and something I need to do for my job. So I tried Claude Code Agent Teams for like 10 minutes and I was very surprised by how much I can scale myself. So I thought I have a chore which makes Claude Code Agent Teams a good candidate. So I have the basic installation done. I have the experimental agent teams enabled in my settings.json. I also have Tmux installed, and I also have IT2 installed, like IT2 CLI. I haven't tried the Tmux mode for agent teams yet, but I think we'll try it today. So for context, what you're going to do, we have Scality's CSI driver for S3, for which I'm the main maintainer. This CSI driver is basically to provide S3 buckets as file system, like through PVs and PVCs in Kubernetes. It's a fork from AWS's CSI driver, which does the same thing, but for Amazon S3 buckets. It has much more features than Scality's CSI driver, like which are related to AWS services like EC2 or Express One Zone and so on. And both the drivers are based on AWS's Mount Point S3, which is a simple high throughput file client for mounting an Amazon S3 bucket as a local file system. Since Scality's S3 solution is completely Amazon compliant for the APIs, we can directly use this mount point for Amazon S3 in our CSI driver. So I know I do have a bug in my CSI driver where I'm not passing in security context into the mount pod architecture, like mount pod pods. So if you see here, I do not have any security context in my pod spec, whereas the AWS driver has like security context in the pod spec. So this seems like an easy fix along with adding some tests. But before that, I thought, let's try to rebase our driver, since I haven't rebased the driver since version 2.0 of AWS's S3 CSI driver. So I spent like half a day to actually see what they have done in the recent releases, what PRs they have opened, what issues they have opened. So I have quite a bit of idea what we need to achieve, because for delegating this to an agent or AI, I wanted to understand what am I delegating so I can direct it in the right direction. But this is an intensive task. It's not a simple rebase, because as you can see, the diff is a bit long. So we are ahead of CSI driver due to our choices. So if you're interested in the architecture, we have good documentation here. AWS CSI driver has amazing documentation around architecture and all the configuration options, so check it out. But the goal for today is basically understanding what are the differences between these two drivers since version 2 of each, and how can we rebase or approach rebase. So I'm going to use agent teams for this to analyze both code bases and understand what we need to tackle first. So that was about context. So here I have a CSI directory. This is the Amazon S3 CSI driver. This is the Mount Point S3, and this is Scality's CSI driver for S3. Each one of these has its own claude.md file. So there's a claude.md file in each one of these. So and we have a global cloud.md file for these. I created them using /init. And this is another repository. The goal is that once I have a workflow, which will be pretty manual and which I'll show you all, I want this workflow to be automated somehow. And I'm thinking right now that eventually I will save that as a skill, or I'll tell Claude Code to save it as a skill, so that I don't have to repeat this process again and I can just run the skill on demand. So the skill will eventually be available in that repository. So first thing first, let's start Claude. Right now I have these settings, and teammate mode is auto. I'm gonna leave it default for now. First, I need to give Claude Code context of what we are dealing with and what we want to do. So let's do that. I have 3 repositories of interest here. One is AWS Upstream, which is the CSI S3 driver by AWS. Another one is MountPoint S3 CSI driver. Basically, this is Scality CSI driver for S3, which has been forked from AWS CSI driver. And then we have MountPoint S3, which is used by both CSI drivers to provide S3 buckets as file system in Kubernetes. What we want to do here is we want to fix a bug in MountPoint S3 CSI driver of Scality, where in creator.go, I'm not providing security context when creating a MountPoint pod. AWS Upstream is providing it, so we can check that. Other than that, since version 2.0 of AWS's CSI driver, I haven't rebased in a while. Since Scality's CSI driver has deviated a bit, rebase is not that simple. I need your help to start a team of agents to analyze what we need to do in order to become feature parity with AWS's CSI driver. I think there are some improvements we can add, there are some fixes we can add, and maybe there are some features we can add. But we should make sure that it's relevant to Scality's CSI driver. For example, AWS supports S3 Express 1 zone, they support different authentication modes, they support EKS, they support EC2 services, and so on. But Scality's CSI driver just supports standard S3 solution developed by Scality, and it supports IAM only for authentication. And when it comes to Kubernetes, Scality's CSI driver supports only OpenShift and vanilla Kubernetes officially. So let's start a team of agents and see what we can do. Do not commit anything. Create a folder called analysis where all the agents can put their analysis in. So this is my prompt. Let's see if everything was translated as per what I said. So now we're gonna do some yes and allow. I'm gonna allow it everything because later I can show you in my .claude directory I've disallowed git push. So right now it's trying to build kind of a plan on what it needs to do, and I'm hoping that it will create a team of agents along with the team lead to actually do it. So here it first created a bunch of tasks. Now it's spawning agent teams for the first 4 tasks in parallel. I see here agent team spawning. We have feature filter. What it's asking, let's see. Okay, it's asking to see the history. And then we have security context analyzer, upstream analyzer, and divergence analyzer. That's pretty cool. So if I want to go and see what each of these are doing, I should be able to press shift up. So this is my team lead. This is my divergence analyzer, feature filter. Okay. So if I go into divergence analyzer, it's going through all like the code base and AWS upstream. It's reading all the files. It's doing a diff. So let's see what other agents are up to. So let's allow this diff as well. So basically each agent is its own Claude Code instance, kind of, to put it in simple terms. So each one of them will ask me for permission for the same thing, probably. I could have made my life easier if I had allowed all of that in .claude local settings in this current folder. So right now it's checking upstream, still what's going on in upstream. So yeah, I was gonna see the upstream analyzer, what it's doing. So right now it has comprehensive information, and then it's saying, let's see if the analysis directory exists, and write the analysis. So all these agents are working independently, and I'm trying to figure out which models they're running. I have no clue right now. I think there should be a way to figure out which models they're running. Let's go to team lead one. So the team lead says there are 5 tasks. One is on pause, implementation roadmap. It's blocked, waiting for tasks 2, 3, 4. Security context is complete. So I think there's one, this person, or not person exactly, but this agent is idle, and it has used 78,000 tokens. So this task is done. That makes sense, it's idle. And the other 3 are still running. So I'm gonna hide these and see, wait on it to see what's going on. So I see I've used 353,000 tokens across all of them, probably. And the main agent is using 53,000 tokens. So upstream analysis is complete. There are 5 bugs, 4 features found, and I think they're creating .md files. So these days, I don't check .md files anymore for this kind of analysis. I ask Claude Code to build HTML files. There are skills, front-end skills, which are available on the internet and from Claude Code skills repository as well, or their marketplace as well, Anthropic's marketplace. So that's what I'm gonna use to see what analysis they came up with. So let's see what's going on with our agents. So they're still working on it. There are 2 idle and 2 left. So by the way, if you have to go across this, you have to still press shift and go up and down. So this one used 77,000 tokens. This one used 78,000 tokens. This one has used 72,000, and this one has used 139,000, probably because it's seeing where the divergence is, and it's trying to see both repositories. Okay, so all the tasks look complete to me. Now I think it's gonna create an implementation roadmap. So I'm gonna right now also tell it to create an HTML file. I think I do have front-end design. Yeah, I do have the skill there. So that's what I'm going to do. Instead of markdown files, let's create a proper website with HTML, so it's more easily digestible. Let's use the front-end designer for this if needed. But basically in the analysis directory, I expect HTML files with the home page where I can go through everything. I want to understand the intent of each item that we are suggesting, the impact, why it is needed, what was missing, what will be the effect on Kubernetes CSI driver, and also like categorize them with P0, P1, P2, P3, and also give reasons why. We want to understand the intent of this and not just follow blindly. So let's give it this. So I'm doing all this with Sonnet. Eventually, I do want to use the... Wait a second. I'm in divergence analyzer. Did I give it instructions in divergence analyzer? Let's see. I thought all the agents stopped. Okay, it created everything. I'm trying to find out where it's actually trying to execute the HTML front-end thing. So I'm gonna hide this. That's a little buggy. Let's go back to team lead. Maybe that's, oh yeah. Okay, so I have to go back to team lead to be able to get back to the main prompt. So it's gonna shut down Teams. It's like the roadmap creator is still running. So I thought it shut down Teams, but actually it didn't. So the roadmap creator is synthesizing all 4 analysis documents into a comprehensive plan. I see in the main prompt I've used like $8, but I think I've used much more considering all these are independent agents. So now it did create a 4-phase plan and it's shutting down the agents gracefully. Let's see. So I think it's shut down this time for sure. And it gave me some analysis summary here. So there are 74 commits analyzed, features, there's code divergence, there is comprehensive 4-phase plan. I don't know if it actually created the HTML files. So let's do ls analysis. So it still has the markdown files. Okay, let's convert these markdown files into HTML. I want to be able to see them on my browser. Parallelize this task using Agent Teams to maximize parallelism. Let's see what it does. So it should convert all these files into HTML, and it should create a main homepage file as well. In case it doesn't, I'm just gonna give it instructions anyways. I also need a home or a main page which has a summary of everything, and make sure we also document why we need to do this, the intent behind it, and what will be the system impact and the user behavior change, because we want to understand the reason why we are doing this rather than just doing it. Okay. Okay, so it started 5 agents, and let's see, it's converting all 5 files into Markdown. This is what an agent will do: read each Markdown file, convert into HTML. This is not a good use case for agents, but I just wanted to see how it parallelizes the conversation for maximum speed. So I think the agents report back, and there is also one more thing, an executive summary using, so let me allow it. So it asks me to allow it to create it in temporary directory, and then it can store in the analysis directory. Anyways, so we do have an index.html for executive summary. This is the home page creator. I think after this, I want to see what it actually created. And the last thing I would do is analyze all this that it created and compare it to actual code. And that's when I'll use Opus. And I also want to see, when we're comparing it to actual code again, what exactly are the dependencies. So let's say I have to implement a fix A, and it's dependent on feature 1. So I cannot implement fix A till I have feature 1. So we'll also determine what we need to do in order to implement these fixes or improvements. So right now there are 3 converters that have finished their job. The third and second Markdown file is still being converted. Let's see. So 3 out of 2 agents, it says 2 out of 6 agents is completed, and now it's 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6. That's good. I think it's, I like this thing. It creates like temporary Python scripts. Some of you who have used Claude Code might have noticed that it creates temporary Python scripts or bash scripts on the fly to actually do things, and that's what it's doing here right now. Okay, so it did do standalone with responsive design. I'm trying to see what I can expect. Homepage will contain why this matters, system impact, user behavior changes, risks and benefits, decision points. Now it has finished 5 conversion. Let's see. So we do have an index.html here. I'll let it finish its job. So let's try to open in this index.html. Okay, I still see it's doing something. Okay, it's verifying its work. So now it's going to shut down the Teams. Meanwhile, we can see index.html. So for those of you who don't know, you can press exclamation and type the command that you want to type, like a bash command. And let's see, that didn't work. Okay, I'm in the wrong directory. So this is what it created. We have a security bug, we have 5 critical fixes, 5 high value fixes, analyze 74 commits, and developer days is 13 to 19 days. Yeah, that's like 2 sprints of work. So let's see. I know both these code bases in and out, so I'm going to be very quick in analyzing these. So FS group, the bug that I showed you, that makes sense. There's a prefix parsing issue. Yeah, I understand there's a race condition and a host PID, which we are not populating. All these are known to me. Taint removal, yes, I saw this in the release notes. Label to annotation, this is an optional feature, I think. It's an enhancement. CRD gating, this is something I didn't know about. I need to read about this. Dependency bumps, I think we are good on dependencies, so I don't think we need to do dependency bumps on the Scality side, Scality CSI driver side. Then we have mount point binary. Yeah, that's something we need to update because there are some fixes on that. We are on version 1.18 and we need version 1.22. I think that's the latest one. So I think we should be on the latest because there are some fixes over here. Yeah, opening file for reading, writing. These are some important fixes. Again, I did spend half a day to go through all the release notes and see what was updated. That's how I know already. I'm not blindly following it. I don't call it vibe coding. I call it intentional AI coding. Then there are some long-term fixes, structural alignment, expectation system, cache volumes. So let's see. So for everything it does, why this work matters. That's amazing. Business drivers, feature parity, okay. And what user behavior changes we'll have for each one. Okay. So there are no breaking changes. That's what it says. We'll see. And then we have a risk register. Things we need to fix this up. I think we'll be fixing this in the next couple of weeks for sure. Then there is some decision that requires input. Okay, host PID. We re-enable it. We keep it disabled, configurable. I need to look into this. Okay, there is a difference between how we operate in OpenShift as compared to vanilla Kubernetes. And then there's detailed document analysis. Okay, so I think it created all these things, which is a bit more detailed report on what we need to do and what we need to fix. This is great. Now I want a final check for my report. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna let's go to documentation. I want to see Tmux mode. So right now we saw all the agents doing their own thing, but I want to see how we can enable Tmux mode. Okay, I think we can do from documentation what it looks like is Claude teammate mode Tmux, and from what I understand it will use Tmux, so I can attach to a Tmux session, and if I have IT2 CLI installed, this is basically a utility which is pretty awesome when working with Tmux. I can view those things and Claude Code will help me view those things. I think in my terminal, I already have Python API enabled. We'll see if we don't. And that's about it. So I'm going to copy this. Let's end my session. I could have done it via config as well. So let's type here Tmux. I think that's what it says. Two modes. Yeah, Tmux mode. And let's use resume. Okay, so if I do a config, I should have overridden. Perfect. Tmux mode. So default is auto, and I overrode it while starting Claude Code. So now I'm going to switch to Opus, and I'm going to start the analysis one last time. This is me exploring Agent Teams. I'm pretty sure I will have a much better methodology and much better way which will save me tokens. So I always start with exploring things, and then I try to optimize. So this is my first try of exploring this. Okay, so let's tell our Opus. So I need your help to spawn a team of agents. I have some analysis done for making or achieving upstream parity with AWS upstream. What I want you to do is I want you to spawn as many agents as possible in the team to maximize parallelism, and all the agents should use Opus as the model, and they should verify quickly if each fix is valid and by comparing it to the code. We also want a kind of an implementation plan. So there can be a scenario where fix A is dependent on feature 1. So fix A cannot be implemented till we have feature 1. So if you have two agents, one is analyzing fix A and one is analyzing fix A, and other one is analyzing feature 1. Let's say the fix A analysis is complete, or feature 1 analysis is complete, but they might need each other in the end to confirm what they exactly need to do or what is the dependency, because each agent has its own context. So what I want you to do is do not kill any of the agent team members till you receive an acknowledgement from all others that we don't need this context anymore. The idea is that we need to know what we need to implement, what unit tests, end-to-end tests should go into each, and what type of tickets we need, and what all PRs can be created directly to main, what all will be piggybacked, and so on. So let's try to achieve this plan and try Agent Teams with it. So I know I'm repeating myself. This is not my best prompt, but I'm just winging it right now. Again, not wipe coding, but intentionally coding. So let's see what it does. So hopefully it uses Opus model for all the agents. Oh, I forgot to give one thing. Let's stop it. I press escape to stop, and the analysis is an analysis folder. The agents should update the HTML website. Okay, so I forgot to mention this. I'm thinking if any other thing I forgot. I don't think so. Okay. And yeah, of course, do not implement it yet. We are just discussing the implementation plan. Okay, let's see what it does. So right now I do see that there are 5,277 additions. But all this is like probably the analysis folder. So I do have now agent teams being created. So I can view teammates by doing tmux-l and attaching myself to this session. So I think it should display all the agents on the right side of our screen automatically once the agents start. I've not tried this before, so let's see. So I can see none of the agents have been started yet. This is good. The final implementation plan will be blocked by everybody. So till we analyze everything, we won't have the final implementation plan. Okay, something is happening. So FS group was like one of the issues. So that is one of the agents. Oh my God, I think it will spawn like 10 different windows here using IT2. And there's a prefix agent. Now there's a race agent, like the race conditions agent. I hope my Mac doesn't crash in the middle of this video. But now there's a host PID issue agent or improvement agent. There's an annotations agent, like for figuring out the annotations. And all of these are using Opus 4.6. So okay, I hope my windows can fit. Okay, let's do yes here, because it needs permissions to do git log and stuff. I don't run things dangerously. So let's zoom in out a bit out of these. I don't think I want to do it for everyone. Let's just click a couple of them. So there are 9 teammates. So if I press shift up, yeah, there are 9 teammates. And all of them are doing its work. At least I want to see the cost for all of them, even if I'm not seeing what they're exactly doing. But the good thing is, if I don't understand something, I can go into a particular conversation and see what exactly it did it do. I'm hoping that the main team lead doesn't end these terminal sessions, or they're open at least for history. So permission required, I see that. Yes. Yes. It wants to create. Yes, let it create. Let it cook. So pretty sure on the video this will be too small, but yeah, it's analyzing code, which is good. That's what I wanted. And every one of these agents is running Opus and seeing what the code says and is the actual plan that we created aligned with the code. So yes, yes. Again, I'm not randomly pressing yes. I have used Claude Code for a while, so I have a good eye on what it's asking and where the command is. Okay, in this session, the main session, we have used 120,000 tokens. We still have 40% remaining. That means up to 20% more, it will be compacting. From what I've seen, at 80% is when it compacts. The good thing is it was smart enough to spin up the Opus non 1 million context window agent. So that's nice. I feel I need a bigger screen. I don't know if it's gonna update the HTML files as well. So I'm gonna just give it context. So at the end of it, update the HTML files as well. Wait, actually, I should have read what it's gonna do. So here, write findings to MD plus generate HTML. So it already has that. I don't need to give it this. So FS group is complete. That's good. Okay. So I think it should be idle till and wait, staying alive. Oh yeah. So let me zoom in a bit here. So it says staying alive for cross verification. Yeah, staying alive for cross verification questions from the team. Every time I click on it, it goes up. Yeah. And then let's see. I should have the same thing for others. Prefix passing, race condition, done. So same thing. No new unblocked tasks available. Standing by for further instructions from the team lead. Perfect. Okay, so we are progressing. So now this is gonna, so let's see how much did it use. I'm curious. So it used 81,000 tokens, $1. This one used 96,000 tokens, $1. This one used $2, 131,000 tokens. This one is still doing its job. It's doing an analysis or HTML creation. And it used $1, $1, $1.24, around $2. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. The host PID is still working. I really want to see what they're actually doing, and I think after this video I'll go and see what exactly one of them did. So each one of them did, or maybe some which don't make sense. I think I can figure that out because I know the code base in and out, and I know the architecture of everything listed in there. So let me go back and see if they already started updating the page. No, not yet. Okay, it's still the old one. I'm going to give it one more task. Make sure you use the front-end designer skill to actually make the page, the HTML files, a bit more user-friendly when it comes to UX. This is actually a Sonnet task. I feel bad giving it to Opus, but that's where we are right now. And again, this is not the most efficient way of doing things. Here we are exploring. This is the first time I'm using Agent Teams for such an intensive task. It would have taken me quite some time to analyze all of these. Now I can read the analysis and go deeper into what I want. The basic analysis is done. So yeah, it's like how many? 9 agents, and then before that there were 5. Before that there were like 6, something like that. All agents at one time in one go. I know, like this is like just blowing my mind. I have been a manager and team lead before, and I know how difficult it is to find people or to hire people who are really good. And this makes me feel like I have supreme power, and I'm trying to actively humble myself down. But this seems not real, but it is real. In any case, so like I was saying that it feels like a human can scale themselves using this a lot. Of course, garbage in, garbage out, whatever. If my prompt is bad, it will produce bad things. If my methodology is bad, it will produce bad things. Or if I'm not approaching things the right way, if I don't know what I'm supposed to do, even probably the agent won't know, at least in my experience. But this kind of changes the game I'm able to scale myself in a very different way. Because I think this was like 2 weeks of work, and I spent half a day doing research. I'm gonna spend another like couple of hours maybe analyzing all this. Then I'm gonna probably change the plan a bit based on my own understanding and the things I want to do, the way I want to do it. And eventually I'll tell an agent to create all the tickets, all the PRs, all the tests. This is giving me mixed feelings, and it's super interesting. Like 1 month back, this was possible probably, but you like using some external non-Claude Code systems or infrastructure, AI agentics infrastructure. I haven't tried any one of those. I was thinking that we'll reach the stage in maybe mid 2026, but it's like February 2026. And yeah, this is blowing my mind right now. This is a lot of work. So I think eventually money and energy will be the bottleneck. I hope Claude Code and Claude is using like cache prompts. I think they would use caching. It's not about hope, but I think they're using caching. So the way and the scale at which they are implementing features and they're productizing them and making it available, it's very fast. And I think the way I used to do things 1 month back, I need to change. And I need to change yesterday. I mean, this came out like 1 week back. For Opus 4.6 came out 1 week back. And yeah, I should have tried it that time. So anyways, better late than never. But from what I understand is all these new features coming out, all these new models coming out, they are improving at a scale or at a speed that it will be difficult to catch up with things. Somewhere I believe that if somebody starts today, they will just start on this and it will be normal. But for folks who are already in this, I think they need to keep on looking at release notes. Like there's a release notes, and keep on looking at the blog and what's coming out and try these features. It's pretty amazing what they have come up with. So I think these are my HTML agents, like dashboard builder, page builder. I think it started 3 more. So let's see what it comes up with. So I'm going to try to minimize this. This is a team lead, I think. Okay, so it's too zoomed out. So let's see the costs. So I think these agents will still keep on running because I told them that don't exit till the time you actually receive an acknowledgement from other agents. But what is this like? This is not that expensive for the amount of work that they did. Again, I do have the context on what I'm trying to achieve. That is very important. Intent is very important. I've seen, at least for now, if I don't understand it, I won't be able to give right directions, and I won't be able to tell the agents what to do or nudge them in the right direction. So I did have to spend some time to actually figure out what I wanted to achieve. And then I think it's all about methodology. I'm gonna make one more video about methodology, I think. Okay, so it had compacted the conversation. I had reached 80% of my context window. I could have used 1 million context window size, but with Opus 4.6, but I'm not doing anything super complex on my main agent stuff, or like main agent context session. I'm using Opus 4.6 here because this time I'm asking all the teammates to analyze code, and I think it's a bit more complex task. So I want all the team of agents to be given equivalent complex instructions or better instructions. And I think Opus 4.6 can do it better, at least by experience. If I want basic things, I use Sonnet. And if I want to manage a team of agents with more complexity, I would use Opus 4.6, though I would experiment later on how Sonnet performs on other tasks equally complex. Okay, so what did it do? So it updated index.html with new layout. There are 14 pages. It did some CSS stuff. It did review the maintenance report. Now it's analyzing all the HTML pages. Each has 200 lines of CSS and so on. And now it's spawning agents to do all the works in parallel. Each agent will convert old inline HTMLs to shared design system. Okay, this is a complete waste of resources. I'm gonna let it do it, but this seems to me a waste of resources. One particular agent can do this. I don't need Opus for this. I need Sonnet, but we'll let it slide. We're doing this for the first time. We're exploring and we are learning. Okay, so there are 19 background tasks running, 14 teammates running. Wow. And this is just one window. And my Mac didn't crash. That's pretty awesome. I feel like I did one sprint of work in like less than one day. I mean, I've not implemented things. There are tests, there is CI, there is a lot of different things which will come into picture. But all this is ready to be ingested by other agents. Like I use Claude Code, but like other Claude Code agents. So from my side, I spent half a day in analyzing, maybe how much have we been running? So approximately 1 hour. It's been 53 minutes we have been in this video. So 1 hour working with agents, and I'll spend like maybe a couple of hours or 3 hours going through what they actually produced. So index.html. Whoa. That's like nice. I mean, it's much better than reading markdowns. I like reading markdowns. I'm used to reading markdowns, but I can share this with my team. All the hours here are, I think, human hours. Yeah, it's like before. It's all the human hours. And the weeks as well. So let's see what all do we have. So it has dependencies on other items and some things are independent. So that's cool. CI improvements. So here's a dependency drop. That's what I was looking for. So this is standalone, this is standalone, host PID, OpenShift conditional. Okay, OpenShift conditional depends on host PID. Headroom cleanup. This is an old ticket, which I need to verify if there's an overlap or what. And then there's correctness, analysis, system impact. Wow. Yeah, so no, maybe not like 1 hour, or I think I'm going to spend 2-3 hours. I'm going to copy this, probably make this a PDF, copy it into my Remarkable while my agent is doing some other things. Okay, so we have analysis, security context, upstream changes, relevant features, rebase strategy. Whoa. Okay, so it's still converting this one probably. So rebase strategy, what do we have here? So things will require manual resolution, things are auto-mergeable, mechanical, recommended, cherry pick. I don't think I will cherry pick things because we have diverted a lot as compared to AWS's S3 CSI driver. But there are ways we can do that. Interesting. So the most important thing for me usually is the impact on the user. Like if anything is broken or not, if anything is gonna be change in behavior, or we are maintaining backward compatibility, if we need to update documentation in some way, and so on. So I think it did all of it. And headroom cleanup it's just still doing, but I think it did everything else. Nice. Let's see what our agent is up to. Most of the things are complete. It's going to update the analysis page, update the verification pages, and all the agents should be idle. Neat. Okay, so last thing we should check is our implementation roadmap. I think it's still formatting it as per the new layout, but we have an implementation plan. Of course, everything that I'll do here, I'll probably do it with agents, and I'll review each and every PR because I'm adding my name in front of the commit. For now, I will be reviewing each and every PR because I want to understand the context so that next time I can guide it in the same way. If I would have done this before, if I can understand context just by this, great. I just need to review it actually did what was specified here in these HTML files. But if I need to dig deeper, I will dig deeper. But this is pretty awesome. I think that's about it. I wanted to share with you my exploration around agent teams, and wow, it just blew my mind. I can scale, as an individual, I can scale myself a lot more, and all of them doing things the way I want it. Just some background. I have been using Claude Code since like April. So I use a lot of coding agents, but I've been using it since April. So I know how to deal with Opus Claude models. So there is a lot of background work that I've done, but this is completely amazing. Anyways, next time I'm gonna try to share with you my methodology on how to work with agents. Till then, all the best, and try this feature out. It's amazing.